Guys, now we will start with dividends chapter. Put the heading dividend. Ipcc new syllabus. See, we have two types of dividend. How many types we have? Two types. One is called interim dividend, another one is called final dividend. Interim dividend, final dividend. See, before declaration of dividend, should see whether in the current year's profit and loss you are having profits. Whether you have current year profit. If you are not having current year's profit, then you can still declare dividend from previous year's profit. Previous year's profit. Sir, I don't have previous year's profit also. We can still give dividend from general reserve, which is called free reserve. Okay, now, so what are the sources available in general is current year's profit, previous year's profit, general reserve. This is in general, everyone know. Now, we will understand what is interim dividend. Interim dividend is the dividend which is proposed by directors between two AGM. The dividend which is declared between two AGM is called interim dividend. Final dividend means, one of the basic objective or the ordinary business of the AGM is declaration of dividend. Now, so final dividend will be declared only in AGM. Interim dividend will be proposed by directors, board of directors, as well as declared by board of directors. Proposed by the board and declared by the board of directors. Final dividend will be proposed by board of directors but declared only in AGM by passing ordinary resolution. Understood? Now, before giving dividend, what you should keep in your mind? Number one, if previous years if you have losses, that loss should be adjusted in the current year's profit. Then only you can declare dividend. If you are defaulter of public deposits, you cannot declare dividend. If you are defaulter of public deposit, unless the default is made good, you cannot give dividend. It is not necessary to transfer certain percentage of profits to reserve while declaration of dividend. It is not necessary to transfer certain percentage of profit to reserves while giving dividends. It is at the option of the board. It is at the option of the board what percentage they want to give it, okay, to transfer to reserve. It is at the option. Fourth, if your profit is before depreciation, first you should provide for depreciation. So mandatory provision for depreciation should be given. So depreciation has to be adjusted. Then only you can declare dividend. So these 4 points you should keep in mind. Previous year loss should be set off against current year's profit. Defaulter of public deposit cannot give dividends. Then it is not necessary to transfer certain percentage of profits. Then depreciation is mandatory. Now, what is the source available for declaration of interim dividend? Interim dividend has two sources: current year's profit previous year's profit. This is called accumulated surplus. This is called what? Accumulated surplus, which is not transferred to reserve, which is not transferred to reserve. Accumulated surplus not transferred to reserve. So current year's profit, which is earned during the year after providing for depreciation. Previous year's profit, that is called accumulated surplus, which is not transferred to reserve. So if you are declaring interim dividend in the current year, if you are having current year's profit, well and good. If the current year you don't have profit, but in previous years you are having profit, you can declare dividend. Now one more thing added. Current years I don't have profit. Previous years I don't have profit. But next year I have profit. So for example, 31/3/19 year end I don't have profit. No profit. 36/19, that is the next year, I have profit. 39/19 is the AGM date. As per interim dividend definition, dividend which is declared between two AGM. So if I declare dividend say on 1st August 19, if I declare dividend on 1st August 19, then it is called as what dividend? Interim dividend of 31/3/19 year, because the AGM of 39/18 and the next AGM is on 39/19. So the dividend which is declared between two AGM is called interim dividend. But in this dividend you are not declaring from current year's profit, you are declaring from next year's profit, which is before AGM. So this is a new amendment. Previously we have only two sources, at present we have third source also. Interim dividend can be declared from current year's profit. Interim dividend can be declared from previous year's surplus. Interim dividend can also be declared from next year's profit. Can you able to understand? But this should be before AGM. Understood? Okay. Now we will go for final dividend. Final dividend can be declared from four sources. Source number one, current year's profit. Okay. Source number two, previous year's profit. This is called what? Surplus, but not transferred to reserve. It is only P&L accumulation. Then third is free reserves, and fourth one is government guaranteed money. Government will give you some revenue subsidy, government money. So come on, tell me, what are the four sources available for declaration of dividend? Current year's profit, previous year's profit, accumulated surplus not transferred to reserve, free reserve, government money. Okay, now sir, if you are paying dividend out of current year's profit, no issue. Previous year profit, no issue. Government money, no issue. But if you are paying dividend out of free reserves, you have four rules to be followed. In that, rule number one is called rate rule. Rule number one is called what? Rate rule. Rate rule is average of last 3 years rate. So the highest percentage of the dividend in the current year can be average of each of the last 3 years rate. For example, in year 16 you pay 10% dividend. In year 17 you pay 20% dividend. In year 18 you pay 10% dividend. Now 10 plus 20 plus 10 is equal to how much? Okay, 40. Now 40 divided by 3. This is the maximum percentage you can declare dividend. So imagine imagine in this year you didn't declare any dividend. You didn't declare any dividend. Now here the word each of the last 3 years is given. Hence, if in 2018 if you have not declared dividend, then this rule is not applicable. This rule is not applicable. That means what? You can give dividend without following this rule. This rule is applicable only in last 3 years. If you have declared dividend, then only the average of last 3 years will come. If in any one of the 3 years if you have not declared dividend, then you need not follow this rule. Understood? Next, the second rule is called withdrawal rule. How much I can withdraw from free reserves? I can withdraw up to 1/10 of paid up capital plus free reserves. How much I can withdraw? Up to 1/10 of paid up capital and free reserves. So from free reserves to declare dividend, how much I can withdraw? 1/10 of paid up capital and free reserves. Now always keep in mind this 1/10 of paid up capital and free reserves, okay, should not be just like that given as dividend. Why you are coming to free reserves? Because current year you don't have profits, you may be having loss. I told you in the first rule itself, if you have losses, if you are adjusting with the current year, still you are having profit only, you can declare dividend. So the third rule is called usage rule. This rule says after the withdrawal, the amount should be first utilized for adjusting the current year's loss. So withdrawn amount minus current year's loss, only that amount can be given as dividend. That too, that amount should not cross this rate rule rate. If the rate rule comes say 10%, imagine the rate rule comes to 10%. If the withdrawn amount is maximum allowed to give only 8% dividend, then you should give only 8% dividend. Can you able to understand? For example, the withdrawal amount, okay, paid up capital plus free reserves come to only rupees say 10. Okay, current year loss is 2. So 10 minus 2, current year's loss should adjust as per the rule. You will have only 8. As per rate rule, it comes to 10%. But say 10% paid up capital is equal to say 10. Paid up capital is 100. So 10% is equal to 10. So as per rate rule, you can declare 10%. But the amount available is only 8. So what is the percentage you can declare now? 8 divided by 100. Correct? Dividend should be on paid up capital. Say for example, 10% dividend means 10% on paid up capital. Correct? Now I have only 8 rupees to declare a dividend for the paid up capital of 100. So 8 divided by 100 is how much percentage? 8%. But as per the rate rule, I arrived at say 10%. Can you able to understand? So even if 10% I am allowed to declare, but I don't have money to pay 10%. So I will be paying only 8%. Can you able to understand? Then fourth rule is called balance rule. After withdrawing the amount, in the from the free reserves, the balance in the free reserves should represent at least 15% of the paid up capital. How much? 15% of the paid up capital. So the balance in the free reserve after withdrawing the amount as per the rule 2, the balance should represent how much? 15% of paid up capital. Okay, if it is less than that, then you cannot withdraw at all. Can you able to understand? Come on, tell me, what are the rules? 4 rules. Rate rule, withdrawal rule, usage rule, balance rule. Rate rule says maximum rate at which you can declare dividend is average of 3 years rate, each of the 3 years rate. Second rule, withdrawal rule. How much you can withdraw? 1/10 of paid up capital and free reserves. What is the third rule? Usage rule. What it says? Current year's loss should be adjusted. Balance only you can give it to shareholders. Fourth rule, after withdrawal, the balance in the free reserve should be 15% of the paid up capital. If not, you cannot withdraw that amount also. Understood? Now come to interim dividend. In case of interim dividend, if you are paying out of current year's profit, no issue. But if you are paying from the previous year surplus, not transferred to reserve, this one, previous year's accumulated surplus, not transferred to reserve, then you should follow rate rule. Rate rule says what? Come on, average of previous 3 years rate. Understood? This is what rate rule says. Understood? Everyone understood? Now the difference between this rate rule and that rate rule is, there they use the word each of the 3 years, here they didn't use the word each of the 3 years, they use the word 3 years. That means in 2016 10%, 2017 20%, 2018 you didn't declare any dividend. Here 10 plus 20, okay, plus 0 divided by 3 you can put, so you can declare 10%. Can you able to understand? Can you able to understand? Okay, now here you need not follow rate rule. If the third year, if it's 0, then this rule is not applicable. Here you can put 0 and divided by 3 you can put. Can you able to understand? Okay, now this is the first scenario point of dividend. Can you copy it first? Okay, what are the next few things we should see? Once the dividend is declared, it should be paid within 30 days. Once the dividend is declared, it should be paid within 30 days. Dividend can be paid only in cash and not kind. For example, shareholder comes, Reliance Industries is declaring dividend, they cannot give 1 liter petrol, okay, as dividend. They should be paid in cash. So only in cash and not in kind. Third, you should transfer the dividend money to a separate bank account from your current account. So from the normal current account, you should transfer to a separate account called dividend account within 5 days. So the money should be transferred from normal company current account to dividend account within 5 days. Now this should be paid within how many days? 30 days from declaration. If some people have not claimed the dividend, if people not claimed the dividend, okay, then after expiry of 30 days should wait for within 7 days. After the expiry of 30 days, within 7 days should transfer this money to a separate account called unpaid or unclaimed dividend account. What is this account? Unpaid or unclaimed dividend account. If within 7 days if you are not transferring, then your company has to pay 12% interest. How much you pay? 12% interest per annum, and that money will be taken by the shareholders who will come and claim it later. Understood? So dividend should be transferred within 5 days to a separate account, and dividend has to be paid within 30 days from the date of declaration. Okay, and the unpaid amount or unclaimed amount should be transferred to a separate account within 7 days. That means after 30 days this dividend account should be closed and it should be going to unpaid dividend account. Understood? Next, from this unpaid dividend account, what you should do? Under section 124 they are saying this. Now once the money comes to unpaid dividend account, within 90 days from this account deposit, you should upload in website the name of those people. Within 90 days, you should upload in the website the name of those people with last known address, okay, who are all not yet claimed. Then in every AGM within 30 days, every AGM within 30 days, you should do reconciliation sheet and upload in the website. For example, 2018 you declare dividend. Say for example 39/18 you declare dividend. Then 30/10/18 is the maximum date on which the dividend should have been paid, plus 7 days. Okay, so 31 plus 6, 6th November 18. Okay, this is the 7th day within which you should transfer to a unpaid dividend account. From there, within 90 days, you should upload in the website. Then in the next year, say 39/19, AGM will happen. From there, within 30 days, you should re-upload whoever not claimed this dividend as on this date. So you re-upload every year. You should re-upload how many of them are paid, how many of them not paid. So you should re-upload. Next, how many years you can keep this money in unpaid dividend account? You can keep this money for a period of 7 years. You can keep the money for a period of 7 years. Understood? Okay. After 7 years, you should transfer to IEPF, Investor Education Protection Fund account. After 7th year, you should transfer to IEPF. Before transferring to IEPF account, at least 3 months notice should be given. Before transferring to IEPF account, 3 months notice should be given. That means 6th year, 9th month should give a notice, so that these people may have, okay, upon notice you should give it in newspaper. Then after expiry of 7th year, within 30 days after the 7th year, it should be transferred to IEPF account, Investor Education Protection Fund. Sir, for example, I invested in a company, have not claimed dividend for so many years. I forgot that I invested. I went to Dubai. After few years, I am coming back. Okay, after 12 years, I am coming back. Now, my dividend will be with whom? IEPF. Now, they are not only going to transfer your dividend money, they are also going to transfer your shares. That means any person who have not claimed dividend for a period of 7 years, his dividend as well as shares will be transferred to IEPF. Now you can ask me, sir, for share transfer, as per the share transfer rule, we should have signed the transfer deed, correct? And it is a voluntary conveyance of shares. And so if I am not in India, then who will transfer the shares from my account to IEPF account? Company secretary of the company is authorized to do. Now, company secretary of the company will sign the transfer deed on behalf of you, is authorized, and it will be transferred to IEPF account. Understood? They have in SBI and PNB, they have demat account. IEPF has a demat account. To that account it will go. Understood? Now 125 has IEPF. Now to start IEPF, central government has given fund. Thereafter, from various sources, this Investor Education Protection Fund will get money. For example, share application money pending allotment. Share application money pending allotment for a period of 7 years will get deposited into IEPF. Unclaimed dividend will come to IEPF. Matured deposit, that means public deposit which is getting matured but no one claimed it, it will come to IEPF. Redeemed preference shares which is not got amount, means that the shareholder didn't come to get the amount. So all this money will go to IEPF. This IEPF, central government organization, they will use this fund to invest in government bond, trust bond, etc. They will earn money. Okay, now after 7 years, if you are coming and proving that you are the real shareholder, you will get the dividend and shares back. Understood? Then 126. This is called rights, bonus, dividend to be kept in abeyance. Abeyance means what? Kept aside. Okay, they will keep it separately. Abeyance. What is this? In case if you have a dispute of ownership, for example, we don't know who is the transferor or transferee properly. When there is a dispute of ownership, we will not give rights, bonus or dividends to any particular person till the dispute is getting settled. We will never pay to any one of them. So it will be kept in unpaid dividend account. Can you understand? After 7 years, still the dispute is not getting settled, we will transfer to IEPF. Once the dividend gets settled, people will come with IEPF. Okay, they can go to IEPF and they can claim it. Understood? This is section 126. Come on, copy it. Now we will go to the next section, 127. This is penalty for non-payment of declared dividend. Non-payment of declared dividend. See, non-payment of dividend is not having any problem. If you have not paid dividend, no issue. But once you declared, if you are not at all declaring dividend, no issue. But once you declared, you should pay it off. So penalty for non-payment of declared dividend. There are two types. One is you should pay 18% interest. So the company have to pay 18% per annum simple interest for the shareholders who is eligible to get dividend but you have not paid it. Then second one is the directors is going to get imprisoned. Okay, the directors should be jailed. Now this penalty will not come in few circumstances. A, the company is trying to honor the instruction of the shareholder. For example, shareholder told, please deposit into my account starting with 10000000101. But problem is this account 10 is missing. So when the company is trying to deposit into the account, it getting bounced. So what the company should do? The company should inform the shareholder. If company is informed the shareholder, then there is no penalty for the directors. Then lawful adjustment of dues. Shareholder has to pay call money to the company. Company is to pay dividend to the shareholder. Now, can this be adjusted? Yes, it's called lawful adjustment of dues. Then, when there is a dispute between the ownership of the shareholders, then till the dispute is over, they will not get dividend. Then, accidental omission. There is no intention for omitting to pay. Accidentally, we missed out. So we paid to all except one. Accidentally, somewhere we missed. It's not a issue at all. Understood? So these are exception for payment of dividend. So the directors will not be punished. Can we do a recap? Section 123 talks about payment of dividend. We have two types of dividend. One is called interim dividend and final dividend. And interim dividend will be proposed and as well as declared by the board of directors. And you have three sources for paying interim dividend: current year's profit, previous year's profit not transferred to reserve, next year's profit before AGM. If you want to declare dividend, you should keep in mind that previous year's losses has to be adjusted with the current year's profit. Then depreciation has to be adjusted. If public deposit you obtain, there should not be any default in public deposits. Then any percentage can be transferred to reserve. It's not any, there is no hard and fast rule, board can decide it. Then dividend, once proposed by the directors, cannot be increased by the shareholders. Okay, shareholders can either accept it or reject it. It cannot be increased by the shareholders. Then for paying final dividend, you have four options. One is current year's profit, previous year's surplus not transferred to reserve, government money, and last is free reserve. If you are declaring dividend from the free reserves, you have to follow four rules. One is called rate rule, which is average of last 3 years rate. Then is withdrawal rule, 1/10 of paid up capital and free reserve. Third is usage rule. After withdrawal, the amount should be first utilized for adjusting the current year's profit. And fourth rule is balance rule. The balance in the free reserve should be at least 10% of paid up capital. Understood? Then once the dividend is declared, 15% of paid up capital, 15% of paid up capital. Very good. Okay. Now once the dividend is declared, it should be paid in cash within 30 days. Okay, cash means it's not be literally cash, it should not be paid in kind. That's what I meant. So it can be paid in dividend warrant, or it can be directly transferred to your account, bank account. That is what I meant. I meant like it should not be paid in kind. Okay. Then once the dividend is transferred, once it is declared, it should be transferred to a separate bank account. Within how many days? 5 days. And it should be paid within 30 days of the declaration. If it's unclaimed, it should be transferred to a separate account within 7 days. Okay. Then there it will be there for how many years? 7 years. Then it should be transferred to Investor Education Protection Fund. Can you able to understand? Can I claim it back? Yes. Once I come back, I can claim both dividend as well as my shares. Okay. Then IPF, who will manage? Central government will manage. Okay. What are the source for money for IPF? Dividend money, share money, deposits money, preference shares redemption money. So debenture redeemed but not claimed money, everything will come to IEPF. So wherever the money is actually owned by public but it is not claimed by them, it will come to IEPF. Then punishment we studied, abeyance we studied, then punishment we studied. Correct? So with this we completed dividends chapter. Understood?